What's happening, gang? You think this video is about Ugly Alice? You're wrong. But I did replace a light bulb, so now it's not just winking when the lights are on. Hello. And I replaced the switch, did a little bit of rewiring. This video is about this little guy right here. It's a 10 horsepower Tecumseh solid state ignition, very similar to the engine that is in my little Sears Hydro. And this was taken off of a wheelie horse Raider 10 and a Harbor Freight 420 13 horsepower was put in its place with its own electric start and key and all that stuff. So I got the tractor sitting outside. I've got the engine here. I have cone clutches for days. I've got to get that rod off of there in order for that to come off. The engine does turn over, and it has some compression. I don't know how much. We've got our stator wire here. I haven't checked the oil. I can't imagine it's got any in it. It does, yeah. It's right at the full line. So how about that? It's got oil in it, good clean looking oil. Of course, all the sediment settled to the bottom, I'm sure. It's got the old salt and pepper Briggs carburetor on it with the typical lock collar, not locked to the block. So that might be a trick to get off. But what we're doing is just seeing if this is a viable candidate for resurrection. And I can tell you right now, the coil is missing. I can see that already. Let's pop this cover off. I've got a bucket full of parts, so the coil might be in that bucket. It was a biggie rat find. And I also turned the gentleman on to Dave to go out and do final clean out. They're moving to Florida, and so they were getting rid of everything, literally everything, and that included the wheel horse that he bought new in 1968. I'll let you guys know what the model number of this Tecumseh is. The model HH100-115095B as in boy, serial 853. So it's got its own fuel pump. I'll turn it around here for you so you can see what's going on over here. It looks complete, sans the coil. So there's your fuel inlet down here, which you probably can't see for the air cleaner, and your fuel pump is right there. Can we tilt it a little bit so you can see? There we go. Got our fuel pump, and here's our throttle, our governor, fuel inlet, fuel to the carburetor, and like I said, the cone clutch is on it. There's also a new cone clutch on the Harbor Freight engine, and a number of clutch plates in the bucket that I mentioned. So I think what I'll do first is I'll just go grab that bucket and dig through it, see if that ignition coil isn't in there. If it is, we'll throw it on, see if it's any good. And like I say, I do hear a little bit of compression. I don't know how much. My guess is the coil was taken off. It's just a guess that because the coil went bad. But you never can tell when you're picking up unknowns whether it is a correct diagnosis or an incorrect diagnosis. Well, hold my finger on it. Got some compression. Not a boatload. So let's get the blower housing off, take a look and see what we've got under it. Set all these over here in the parts tray. Blower housing off. No coil. Our wire for the coil is sitting right there. It's possible that he ran it on battery ignition just to keep it going for a little while longer, but at least the hardware is still there. And let's see here, our magnets. Yeah, our magnets are still in place too. Let me just test them. Is that where the magnet is supposed to? Oh, wait. No, that's the stator. Sorry, not the coil. I feel no magnetic pickup there. I'm not super familiar with Tecumseh's, so I'll look this engine up. Like I said, let me go get in the box and see if the box is going to yield us a coil. And I'm guessing the magnet went there, but it's not there now. I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. Just got 2 pins, and they are not magnetized. And that's all that is on that flywheel all the way around. Let me see here. There. Are there 2 sets of these? That's one. I'm going to keep my finger on it. Almost seems like there's 2 sets. But ouch! I'm not going to keep my finger on it. No, just 1 set. Alright, let me get in the box. Hang on. Well, that was short-lived. No coil in the bucket. I'll see what I can do about locating one. Solid state. The 1968 engine. I'll look at it. Looks like it has a new head gasket on it. So what all was in the bucket? Okay, well, the bucket's now empty. There are 2 spare spindles. 2 spindles were completely replaced on the deck. All of the bearings on all 3 spindles were replaced. We've got 4 shafts. We have 1 roller that's got a bushing only in one side, but it appears to be the same size hole over here. Some kind of a clip to hold something in place, not sure what, and a couple of big double D's. I assume that's what the blade attaches to right there. So that's what we've got. 2 of those. That one's got a sheared roll pin, but we've got all that. Empty bucket. We come over here. That was a nice surprise. There's a 3-bolt Briggs updraft in the mix. No clue. There didn't appear to be a Briggs anywhere in the guy's garage. I have no idea. And this looks like a new, albeit dirty, a new-ish starter. Spare carburetor right there. Spare carburetor right there. 9 spare blades. 2 sets look real good. This set just looks rusty, like he picked them up used and just didn't sharpen them. But these other 6 that are sitting here are already sharpened, but don't know if they're balanced or not. And then we've got a bunch of needle bearings in these boxes, and a seal, and then Tecumseh starter shims, and this odd looking thing. Now I know what this is. I've used them before. Do any of you guys recognize what that is? That's a what's it. Let me clamp you guys down and I'll show you. Okay, if I push this in, it opens a cavity. See how it opens that cavity there? You put your Romex cable through there, not your Romex, but your 3-wire cable through there, and then on this other end you'll pull it, and that will wedge that cable in place. Sorry, you guys weren't watching. You put your cable through. After you put your cable through, you wedge the cable into this because it's wedge shaped, and then you tie your pull line to this, and you can pull cable through conduit. So it's kind of handy to have. Like I say, I used them before, but it was many moons ago. We're talking 1989 was the last time I used one. Yeah, that's kind of dating me. Anyway, there's not much that we can do with this engine other than we can go ahead and pop the head off and take a look and see what kind of condition the cylinder bore's in and what kind of condition the valves are in. So give me a sec, clean up the rest of this mess, get it back in the bucket, and then we'll pop the head off, take a look inside. All right, another clutch, a spare, plus the new one that is on the wheel horse raider right now, and another starter. And I don't know what the shape of this one is, and it's turning okay. We may test that, and don't worry, I'll show you guys the raider when we're done here. Buzz the rest of these bolts out. That's a tight washer. Part's bent over here. I wonder why there's a socket head. Well, it's out, but it's not out. Are each one of you going to fight me like this? Anyway. That made it easier to get out. Is that going to come off? Yes. And let's give it a little tap. Well, it's not wanting to pop easy. Let's be careful here. We kind of want to save the head gasket if we can. It's got itself pretty well secured. There's one side. Let's try again. And we don't want to break the fins either. May be good enough. Almost like it's got a little bit of sealant on this side, which is weird. I think that's an Allen. Let's see if that's an Allen. I don't know if that is or not. Strange looking, that's for sure. Does not feel like it. Alright. Let's see which way we want to go. Where's the gasket going? The gasket is staying with the head. So that's got it up against that one stud over here. Lift it and do the same. Got really nasty weather, and because we've got nasty weather, there we go. I think we got her freed up that time. Yeah, there was copper sealant all the way around it. You don't need to do that on a head gasket, but whatever floats your boat. There we go. Okay. I have seen a lot worse. Quite a bit of crud on top of the cylinder. But if we look at that bore, the bore looks good. Let's see, we have a ridge, no ridge. Let's bring it back up top. A little rock. Rock's just a tiny bit, which is fine. The cam is opening the intake. There's the fire stroke, and there's the exhaust valve. The exhaust valve guide's a little sloppy. Let's check the intake valve. Feels a little sloppy too, but bore looks good. Let me spin it around. We'll look at the other side of the bore. Now, this guy lived in the same property. Excuse me, I take that back. Did he? Yeah, he lived at the same property when he bought this new in 1968. And he's just now moving to Florida. He's a snowbird before that. But, and this was the mower that mowed his property for 54 years. It's a long time for one engine to keep working, and that's just a testament to maintenance, making sure you take care of your engines. And you cannot predict a excuse me, you cannot predict electronic ignition coil going bad. We got a bunch of that copper is bled down here. Like I say, definitely not necessary in this hot area, but didn't hurt anything. All right. Well, I guess all I need to do now is I suppose we can throw the head valve. I'm gonna clean the piston off, and we'll throw the head back on, torque everything back down. We'll see if that starter is going to turn this engine over, and we'll do a dry compression check. Then we'll introduce a little bit of oil into the cylinder, see if the compression comes up. It's entirely possible that the rings are wore out and that it needs new rings, but we'll find out here in just a second. Hang on. Alright, we're just going to use the Quinn. I've got it set to 24 inch-pounds. Which is just, or 24 foot-pounds rather, which is just about 190 inch-pounds. And we're going in a crisscross pattern, of course. It's pretty nice. It gives you a warning beep when you're getting close, so it's more or less telling you, ease up there, partner. See how it's giving me a be careful, and then when we hit 24 it'll go solid. There we go. Okay, we're just going to keep going all the way around until we get everything set. Then we'll do a compression test. Alright, compression test time. And we will make sure that the choke is open and that we are at full throttle, which is down. Okay, we ready? All we're doing is checking compression. Obviously we can't get it to run. We can make it turn it into an air compressor. Pat. Alright, are we ready? Let me get the throttle open again. 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. Wire in the way. Almost. Stay right there. Wire. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Contact. It's actually got pretty good compression. Show you guys here. I don't know if you can see that. We are at 105 psi. So, oh, good night. I'll tell you what, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I kid you not when I say they just got a new company handling the appointments and doing all that kind of stuff, and it's overseas in India. So every time I have an appointment coming up, I get literally about 30 texts, whether or not I take care of. There's another one. 30 texts starting 3 or 4 days sooner than my appointment. Insanity. Send one text. Just one. It's aggravating. And plus, you cannot get a hold of the office. You flat out can't get a hold of the office. They deter anybody asking to talk to the office away from it. Say, what's your problem? We will take care of it. And then they don't take care of it. So I find myself hopping in my vehicle, sorry for the rant, find myself hopping in my vehicle and driving to the office to go talk to Millie so I can get things straightened out, instead of having to deal with this company that I don't get their train of thought. I don't know what they're doing, what they think, what they're thinking, nothing. Anyway, good compression. So now I'm going to add a little bit of oil in here, and I'm going to see if my compression number comes up. So sorry about the rant. Hang on just a second. Put about half an ounce of oil in there just to get the rings lubed up, and I just rotated it over by hand a few times. 13 texts just today. 13. Overkill much? Again, sorry about the rant. Do another compression test. Hopefully our numbers don't come up too much. I expect it, to come up a little bit, but we don't want it to come up a lot. There we go. Get the gauge on there. Set everything down. 3, 2, 1. Say it with me. Contact. Ouch, that got hot. Our compression came up quite a bit, so it may be tired on the rings. No, it didn't. We were at 105. We are now at 110. So we only came up 5 psi. Not bad at all. So I'm calling the innards of the engine just fine. Obviously the starter's got what it takes to crank it over. Pulling a lot of amps and burning my fingers. It's mainly my fault, the way I was holding it. So, as long as it's not raining on our heads, you guys want to go out and see what this engine goes on? Come with me. Walk this way. Hang on. I've got to get my beverage. Things are going to be a little shaky because I don't have the motion software. Now, I've got sunshine. I've got sunshine. I don't want to get demonetized. Alright. Here's the wheelie horse. Raider 10. Oh, and I got one of my Sunstars back. It's not charging. It's got a bad magnetron. Anyway, 420, 13 horse, and I left the key inside. It is a hydro, just so you guys are aware, it is a hydro. I am not sure what this deal is that he's got going on here. That doesn't really matter. I got it just to flip it. Dave and I got it to flip it in a yard cart. It's not a wheel horse yard cart, but completely rebuilt deck. Let me go in and get the key. Engine starts and runs just dandy. It's not on. Started its second season with it, and he put it on mid-season last year. So get the weird looking little Harbor Freight key. Oh. And it has pull start too, and it pull starts pretty easy. He's got this neat little bracket on here with a ball for moving trailers around, and he's got another ball hitch on the back. It also has the sleeve hitch for implements, and I got this from Gary Cross, a neighbor, and it's the right hitch for this, and plus it's got the sleeve, and then it also has a ball and a place to mount your trailer or whatever else you're pulling behind you. We'll go to on. See, our fuel is on. We are on choke. Throttle is, I think the throttle this way is down. Yeah, let's go up just a hair. Come on, cable, cooperate. There, here we go. Say it is a hydro. Do I have the brake on? I do not. Okay. Here's your move it lever, and it's really touchy. Really touchy, but kind of neat. Got a new cone clutch on it. I'm not going to engage it. I've engaged it before and it's fine, works great. But anyway, the goal here is to get to quit rolling back. You can stop that right now. The goal here is to get the correct engine back on it. We do not have the hood, but everything else is there. It's I've got the clutch lever, or the choke lever, which goes right in here. I've got the choke lever in the shop and the cable, and of course the throttle lever's sitting there. I don't know if he cut the throttle cable to get it to fit the Harbor Freight or not, but what do I do with the cable? I had it, yeah, right there. Oh, and all these belts were in that bucket also, but here's the choke cable right there. So it's got everything that it needs. All someone would need to do is to find a Raider hood. But I guess we'll wrap it up there. We determined that it's got really good compression. We just need to get electronic ignition coil for it. I've got the numbers off the engine. We'll get that ordered and see if we can bring this guy back to life. And if we can bring it back to life, well, I'm fairly confident that it'll come back to life pretty easy. We will do a test run on it, and after we do a test run on it, then we'll get it swapped into that wheel horse so we can get rid of the wheel horse. And I'll hang on to that 13 horse 420 for a rainy day, or anybody that's needing a 13 horse Harbor Freight engine. I've got a new 6.5 horse over there sitting right there, the 212. You see it right there. That came in, when did that come in? Last year at some point. But anyway, that's the one I did the bore scope on, looked at the innards and determined it was pretty much just run maybe half of one time. Now I remember where it came from. I racked my brain, but it just hit me. I had a GTH 14 wheel horse sitting out here and had a guy that was really interested in it. He got it home, and within an hour he had it running. It looked like death warmed over. Just looked like absolute crap, but the engine was not seized, and it didn't smoke, and sounded great. It's a Kohler 14, balanced Kohler 14. But at any rate, we will revisit this Tecumseh at some point. Things have started to get caught up out here. It has become the weeks of two-wheeled vehicles. You see I've got a seat here, and I've got a side cover. That's off of a Honda Shadow 700. I've got to pull the carburetor off and rebuild the carburetor and rejet it to match the exhaust. Actually, for Harry Kreps, the golf cart, you guys may have noticed the golf cart's gone. I didn't even shoot a video on it, but no more golf cart. There's the air filter for it, as a matter of fact, the old one. But I've got that motorcycle to work on. I have my buddy Larry's Honda, or Suzuki Savage? Yeah, Suzuki Savage 650 single cylinder, one lunger, to do a service on. And before he got it, it had been dropped, and it boogered up the foot peg for your shifter foot peg on the left side. I've also got to relocate the turn signal lights. You cannot see them from behind him. They're LEDs that were added on. But at any rate, I've got some motorcycle stuff we got to get done. Plus, we have the, you can't see much of it, the scooter, King Midget scooter. We've got to get that intake manifold made and get that carburetor to, get the motorcycle carburetor to work with it. So we'll crack the camera on when the next project comes in. I do have a Snapper rear engine rider coming in. I have a Snapper joystick zero turn coming in. I have Mama Sue's Grasshopper coming in. All those for service. Is there anything else? Jason's Hustler to come in for service. And if memory serves, I think that's all that's on the docket. So at any rate, friendly neighborhood Zippo, I promise you guys, you'll see this again at some point, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out of here.